This is African American History is American History. Welcome. I'm your host, Harlan Kearsley. This program's goal is to foster understanding, promote discussion, and expand knowledge through stories of historical events, bios of unsung heroes, as well as timely and relevant news stories which, hopefully, will paint a vivid picture of the effects of segregation, discrimination, and bigotry on the lives of both blacks and whites. In 1946, just hours after being honorably discharged from the United States Army with a Good Conduct Medal, a Service Medal, and a Victory Medal, Sergeant Isaac Woodard Jr. was brutally attacked by members of the South Carolina Police Department. The attack, which took place while Woodard was still in uniform, left him permanently blind. The savage maiming of Sergeant Woodard drew national and international outrage from both the black and white communities. On February 12, 1946, Army Sergeant Isaac Woodard Jr. was mustered out of Camp Gordon in Augusta, Georgia, and quickly boarded a Greyhound bus to North Carolina to rejoin his family. While en route, however,
Okay, folks, this here's just a quick rest stop, so if y'all want to stretch your legs and whatnot, best to do so now, because we'll be moving on in exactly 10 minutes.
Excuse me, sir. The colored restrooms are way on the other side of this building. Do you think there'll be enough time for me to run over there?
Now, how in the hell should I know? I ain't no expert on how long it takes you people to go to the bathroom. Unless you want to risk being left here, I'd say the answer is no. Get on back to your seat.
I'll be real quick.
You niggas think just because you're wearing a white man's uniform, that gives you some kind of special privileges. Well, let me tell you what I think. Y'all ain't
Save
gonna...
it. I already know what you think, Cracker. And I could have done my business and been back in the time it just took you to go running off in the mouth.
You smartass, you best watch your tone, boy, or I'm gonna throw your black ass off this damn bus and make you walk to wherever it is you're going.
Thanks for the warning.
after a while, the bus stopped in Batesburg, South Carolina, to let passengers off. The bus driver also got out and proceeded to contact the local police. He came back minutes later with Chief of Police Linwood Shull and a group of officers.
That's him, Chief. The one wearing the Army uniform. Mouthed off to me something awful. Ranting and raving like he owned the damn bus company. Now don't that just beat all? I bet he's drunk.
All right, we'll handle it from here. You there, boy. Come here.
Is there a problem, sir?
You just bet there's a problem, boy. And you made it. What the hell you doing mouthing off to the driver like you done?
But I did. I only asked the driver if I
don't want to hear no excuses, boy. Where you coming from?
Camp Gordon. I was discharged today.
Got any discharge papers to prove that?
Yes, sir.
These could be forgeries. Until we can determine that you didn't steal these papers along with that uniform, you're coming with us.
But, sir, this is all the...
And I'm adding being drunk to the disorderly conduct charge. I do believe that's alcohol I smell on your breath.
No, sir, I have not been drinking.
Let's go.
Sir, I didn't do nothing wrong.
You don't think there's nothing wrong with being drunk and disorderly on an interstate bus, huh? I ain't gonna tell you again, boy. Let's go. Or do you want me to add resisting arrest to your list of charges?
Officer, this is wrong, and you know it.
Boys, drag this back some bitch off this bus so it can be on its way. Sorry for the inconvenience, folks.
They took him to a nearby alleyway and proceeded to beat him with nightsticks. Later, in his own court testimony, Sergeant Isaac Woodard would speak on how he was beaten, punched, and kicked on the way to jail. Once there, Chief Shull himself beat him some more. It was in the jail cell that Shull repeatedly jabbed Sergeant Woodard in his eyes with a nightstick. Newspaper accounts say that Sergeant Woodard's eyes were gouged out. Throughout that night, Chief of Police Shull and the other participating members of the Batesburg, South Carolina Police Department continued to beat Sergeant Woodard so badly that he suffered partial amnesia as a result. The following morning, the police brought the now blinded Woodard before a local judge, who found him guilty of being drunk and disorderly and fined him $50. Sergeant Woodard pleaded for medical assistance, but it would be 2 days before he would be seen by a doctor. Not knowing where he was and suffering from amnesia, the 27-year-old ended up in a hospital in Aiken, South Carolina, receiving substandard medical care.
Valentino to the OR, please. Dr. Valentino to the OR, please.
Doctor, Negro male, approximately 25 years of age, brought in with severe trauma to both eyes.
Thank you, nurse. All right, let's get him on the table. My God.
What is it, Doctor?
The sclera, the ciliary muscle, the anterior chamber, everything has been obliterated. I'm afraid there's nothing I can do to save this poor man's sight.
After 3 weeks of frantically searching for him, Woodard's family finally discovered he was in Aiken, in the hospital. He was immediately rushed to a U.S. Army hospital in Spartanburg, South Carolina. Though his memory had begun to recover by that time, doctors found both eyes were totally damaged beyond repair. At first, the case was barely reported, but the NAACP worked to publicize Woodard's plight, and soon every major national newspaper in the country covered Sergeant Woodard's story. The NAACP campaigned hard for the South Carolina state government to address the incident and requested that those involved be brought to trial. That request was dismissed. Many celebrities of the day, both black and white, spoke out against this injustice, including heavyweight boxing champion Joe Louis, jazz pianist, bandleader, and composer Count Basie, and actor and filmmaker Orson Welles. Welles made it his personal crusade to advocate for the punishment of Shull and his accomplices. He devoted much time to the Woodard attack on his ABC radio show Orson Welles Commentaries. On the July 28, 1946 broadcast, Welles read an affidavit sent to him by the NAACP and signed by Woodard. He criticized the lack of action by the South Carolina government as intolerable and shameful. This is African American History is American History. Although she is considered by many, including the Academy of American Poets, as one of the greatest African American poets of the early 20th century, today, Effie Waller Smith is all but unknown. Effie Waller was born on January 6, 1879. Effie took up writing poetry at the age of 16. She preferred to write in the traditional style of Tennyson and Longfellow. Once armed with her teaching certificate, she taught school off and on for more than 12 years, sometimes in Kentucky and sometimes in Tennessee, though very little is known about her teaching career. She did, however, continue to indulge her passion for writing poetry. Effie's style of writing centered heavily on the way she was raised, and her inspiration came from things that she experienced in her life. Her poetry spoke of ambition, bliss, grief, religion, friendship, and nostalgia. For example, in her poem, Applesauce and Chicken Fried, she not only talks about the memories of her mother's home cooking, but the yearning for the simpler things in life.
You may talk about the knowledge which our farmers' girls have gained from cooking schools and cookbooks, where all modern cooks are trained. But I would rather know just how, though vainly I have tried, to prepare as mother used to, applesauce and chicken fried. Our modern cooks know how to fix their dainty dishes rare, but friend, just let me tell you what, none of them can compare with what my mother used to fix, and for which I've often cried when I was but a little tot. Applesauce and chicken fried. Chicken a la Francaise, and also fricassee, served with some newfangled sauce is plenty good for me. Till I get to thinking of the home where once I used to bide, and where I used to eat, my applesauce and chicken fried. We always had it once a week. Sometimes we had it twice. And I have even known the time when we have had it thrice. Our good yet jolly pastor during his circuits ride with us once each week gave grateful thanks for applesauce and chicken fried. Why, it seems like I can smell it, and even taste it too, and see it with my natural eyes, though of course it can't be true. And it seems like I'm a child again, standing by mother's side, pulling at her dress and asking for applesauce and chicken fried.
Born a slave in Hickman County, Tennessee, somewhere around 1832, Merrick Fields would go on to be the first African-American woman employed as a mail carrier in the United States, and only the second American woman to work for the United States Postal Service. She could outdrink, outshoot, and outfight just about any man in the Old and Wild West. She was definitely badass, long before anyone even thought to use that term. This is the story of Stagecoach Merrick.
With Mother Mary's help, I opened a restaurant in Cascade, which is a small town just east of St. Peter's Mission. Folks would come from miles around just to taste my cooking, and I didn't discriminate neither. I served everybody. Black, white, Indian, didn't matter whether you could pay or not. Nobody got turned away. I went broke in about 10 months. I went back to work at St. Peter's Mission, hauling freight, doing laundry, growing vegetables, tending chickens, whatever needed doing, I did it. I even worked as a carpenter and mason. I did such a good job repairing the buildings that they made me the forewoman. I was telling white and colored men what to do and where to go every day. I guess I got so good at it that the Indians took to calling me White Crow. They had never seen a woman with black skin act like a woman with white skin before. It took a little getting used to for the white men who was working under me, but I just had to show them who was boss. Ellis, I need you and Tom to head into town and pick up that fencing for y'all knock off for today. We'll start putting it up first thing tomorrow morning.
You gotta be kidding. That's gonna take us pretty near 2 hours there in Bach. In case you ain't noticed, it's 1 hour till quitting time. You got me confused with one of your own people. I ain't no slave.
Me neither. And I know what time it is. You getting paid for your time, so quit your belly aching.
That ain't the point. You can't just...
The more you keep jawing about it, the later it's gonna get.
That's it. That's it. I've had it. It's bad enough I gotta take orders from some darky. But if I wanted to be bossed around by a woman, I'd have stayed married.
With your attitude, Ellis, wouldn't have been long for she'd have shot you in your sleep. Now get to that fencing like I told you.
By God, don't no black bitch talk to me like that.
You call that a punch, Ellis? Them nuns hit harder than that.
Oh, you want some more, huh? Woman or no, I'll drop you right here.
Come on, then. Now that you ain't hitting me when I ain't looking like a little coward, let's see what you can really do.
Damn you!
Had enough? All right, somebody pick him up and get him out of here.
This is African American History is American History. Welcome back.
Do we participate in a politics of cynicism, or do we participate in a politics of hope? I'm not talking about blind optimism here, the almost willful ignorance that thinks unemployment will go away if we just don't think about it, or healthcare crisis will solve itself if we just ignore it. That's not what I'm talking about. I'm talking about something more substantial. It's the hope of slaves sitting around a fire singing freedom songs. The hope of immigrants setting out for distant shores. The hope of a young naval lieutenant bravely patrolling the Mekong Delta. The hope of a mill worker's son who dares to defy the odds. The hope of a skinny kid with a funny name who believes that America has a place for him too. Hope in the face of difficulty. Hope in the face of uncertainty. The audacity of hope. In the end, that is God's greatest gift to us, the bedrock of this nation. A belief in things not seen. A belief that there are better days ahead. I believe that we can give our middle class relief and provide working families with a road to opportunity. I believe we can provide jobs to the jobless, homes to the homeless, and reclaim young people in cities across America from violence and despair. I believe that we have a righteous wind at our backs, and that as we stand on the crossroads of history, we can make the right choices and meet the challenges that face us. For 8 years, and for some of you a whole lot more, I have drawn from your energy, and every day I try to reflect back what you displayed: heart and character and idealism. I've watched you grow up, get married, have kids, start incredible new journeys of your own. Even when times got tough and frustrating, you never let Washington get the better of you. You guarded against cynicism. And the only thing that makes me prouder than all the good that we've done is the thought of all the amazing things that you are going to achieve from here. And to all of you out there, every organizer who moved to an unfamiliar town, every kind family who welcomed them in, every volunteer who knocked on doors, every young person who cast a ballot for the first time, every American who lived and breathed the hard work of change, you are the best supporters and organizers anybody could ever hope for, and I will be forever grateful. Because you did change the world. You did. And that's why I leave this stage tonight even more optimistic about this country than when we started. Because I know our work has not only helped so many Americans, it has inspired so many Americans, especially so many young people out there, to believe that you can make a difference, to hitch your wagon to something bigger than yourselves. Let me tell you, this generation coming up, unselfish, altruistic, creative, patriotic, I've seen you in every corner of the country. You believe in a fair and just and inclusive America. You know that constant change has been America's hallmark, that it's not something to fear, but something to embrace. You are willing to carry this hard work of democracy forward. You'll soon outnumber all of us, and I believe as a result, the future is in good hands. My fellow Americans, it has been the honor of my life to serve you. I won't stop. In fact, I will be right there with you as a citizen for all my remaining days. But for now, whether you are young or whether you're young at heart, I do have one final ask of you as your president. The same thing I asked when you took a chance on me 8 years ago. I'm asking you to believe, not in my ability to bring about change, but in yours. I'm asking you to hold fast to that faith written into our founding documents, that idea whispered by slaves and abolitionists, that spirit sung by immigrants and homesteaders and those who marched for justice, that creed reaffirmed by those who planted flags from foreign battlefields to the surface of the moon, a creed at the core of every American whose story is not yet written. Yes, we can. Yes, we did. Yes, we can. Thank you. God bless you. May God continue to bless the United States of America. Thank you.
President Obama left his 2 terms in office not only scandal-free, but with the highest approval rating of any president in the modern era. I'm Harlan Kearsley, and on behalf of everyone here at African American History is American History, thank you for listening. And if you haven't done so, please subscribe. Once you do, you'll be notified as soon as new episodes are posted. Thanks again, and please stay safe. And remember, none of us can truly embrace the future until we first confront the past. African American History is American History. Copyright H.C. Kearsley, 2023.